Welcome, it's a great afternoon, and of course, I'm your speed merchant Frank Hayes to run you through as the program unfolds. It has been a great weekend as we also headed for another action-packed weekend away from the country city, Kampala. We are now in Hoima to give you as the highlights get to unfold. Give us speed racer. Let's get beginning. Great guys, and we are always glad that you graciously keep it on Speed Racer. Let's start with our tips from the star.
In order to get the maximum performance out of your tires, you need to have the correct air pressure as well as alignment. And there are a number of other factors that need to be considered, such as spring rates, shocks, sway bars, all those other things. We'll be talking about those in future episodes. How do you tell when you have the correct pressure and alignment? By using a probe type tire parameter. This tool determines the temperature of the surface of a tire by a metal probe that's inserted in the tread surface. We do not recommend using an infrared parameter because the readings can be inconsistent. These two parameters are from Longacre. The difference is this is a single reading parameter. It reads only one temperature, whereas this one over here actually reads all three temperatures of each tire and then records those temperatures, and so you can refer back to them later. This one will store 10 sets of temperatures. It also has a built-in stopwatch function. If you use this single reading type, have two people do it so one can be taking the temperatures while the other one is recording them. You need to record the temperatures as quick, or take the temperatures as quickly as possible, because the tire temperatures will equalize real quickly. Your tires have to be up to operating temperature before you take the temperature reading, so either use a skid pad or have your driver make 5 or 6 hot laps and come into the hot pit. Make sure you do the readings as close to the track as possible and as quickly as possible, because the tire temperatures will cool off and equalize real quickly. So starting at the right front tire, you want to take 3 readings, one on the outside edge, one in the middle, and one on the inside edge. Put the probe in at an angle, about a 45-degree angle, because some racing tires are very thin in the tread area, and if you poke it straight in, you might give yourself a flat tire. Next, we're going to the right rear tire. What you want to do is move around the car in a clockwise direction and do it the same every time. This set of temperatures right here is off of the right front tire. This 125 is the inside temperature, the 107 is the middle, and the 76 is the outside edge. And what this is showing is that there's too much negative camber in this tire, or the top of the tire is tilted too far toward the center of the car, so that this side of the tire is rubbing harder on the track surface, making the tire temperature higher here. So what we need to do is straighten it up a little bit and take some of the negative camber out of it. If the outside edge of the tire was hotter than the inside edge, then that means there's not enough negative camber, or it has positive camber and it's tilted this way too far, so we'd have to straighten it up this way. Now, if the two outside edges of the tire were the same temperature, but the center was higher, that means we'd have too much air pressure in the tire and we need to lower it. If the center temperature was lower than the outside temperatures, then there's not enough air in the tire, so we'd have to increase the tire pressure. You want to make those changes in relatively small increments, probably 2 pounds of air pressure, and then when you change your camber, do it maybe in half-degree increments. If you need to get a starting point for your alignment or your pressures, talk to your tire manufacturer or your tire distributor. Sometimes their engineers will be at the track, and they're an excellent source of information for alignment and pressures. This process can be somewhat time consuming, but it'll pay big dividends in reduced lap times.
We always make it a point that you get to learn by us and with the experts who always do the things. practically you get hands-on as you watch Speed Racer with more of this coming on. Now talking F1, and of course it was a great weekend in the Italian Grand Prix. The team talk was around Ferrari, and of course who were the favorites of the day. But unfortunately, Mercedes spoiled their party as Lewis Hamilton came on the grid as #1.
And it's lights out and away we go, and Kimi Räikkönen gets away well, covers off Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton slipstreaming behind Vettel, who pulls out to the left-hand side of the shot. A damage from Brendan Hartley. Look up there for Kimi Räikkönen, but he makes the first chicane. Hamilton and Vettel almost touch. Verstappen's on the inside of Bottas, and he's made up a place. Going over the grass, it's Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. It's Räikkönen from Vettel, from Hamilton, Verstappen. Bottas under pressure now from Grosjean.
Going to be horrible flat spots on the front tyres of Kimi Räikkönen. They're side by side. Look at Hamilton alongside Vettel. Oh, so close. He'll struggle to get round there.
They touch Martin. Hamilton and Vettel has been spun round. Disaster for Sebastian Vettel at the start of this race. He touched with Lewis Hamilton going through the chicane. Hamilton came off best. Sebastian Vettel losing places. He's down in 18th.
2 into 1 wouldn't go. There's just not enough space through there. But Hamilton hung it around the outside. And somehow it's Vettel that went around and has lost some bodywork for good measure.
We can see what happened to Brendan Hartley. Across comes Stoffel Van Dorn, across Hartley's front wing, and now he's just a passenger, really.
Yeah, I got mouse.
Carlos Sainz is making a move on Grosjean as Hamilton makes a move on Räikkönen, gives him a little nudge towards the right-hand side. Hamilton moves into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix and down into the first chicane. Grosjean is scrapping away with Sainz, who has to go over the safety bumps. Behind them comes Esteban Ocon, but Lewis Hamilton wasted no time whatsoever to get past Kimi Räikkönen as Grosjean fights his way past Carlos Sainz again. And here comes Kimi Räikkönen back for round 2. Räikkönen regains the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and Monza goes wild. It's all about the power, and on this occasion the glory eventually goes to Kimi Räikkönen. Sergio Perez and Kevin Magnussen through the Lesmos. There's no room there, and you can see it. Bodywork coming off the Force India and also the Haas as the stewards decide no further action between Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. Bottas makes a move on Verstappen, and Verstappen locks up and then has to go over the speed bumps. He stays ahead of Bottas.
Charlie says we've used up our joker on that, so we won't be able to do that again. Just make sure you keep it clean at 1.
So Räikkönen making his stop, and making his stop early.
So Hamilton then has been told, do whatever he doesn't do. So if he comes in, you stay out. If he stays out, you pit, is what was going on there.
What's happened here to Daniel Ricciardo? Oh, he's had a new engine and it is smoking away like an old industrial mill chimney, quite frankly. A very nice change indeed. 2.4 seconds at the stop by the crew.
Bottas continues. A bit of team play going on here from Mercedes, but Vettel right out of the picture, can't join in.
So keep Kimi behind you.
And the Ferrari looks a handful mid-corner. It's just not giving him the rear grip he needs. Both Ferraris have damaged their left rear.
Verstappen.
Get in there, Lewis. You are the man.
Thank you so much for all the hard work, guys, and for continuing to believe in me. I really appreciate it. And to my fans here as well, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hamilton winning from Räikkönen and from Bottas. Vettel and Verstappen completing that top 5. Well done to Romain Grosjean finishing 6th. The Force India pair of Ocon and Perez coming home 7th and 8th, and it moves Force India now to just 2 points behind Toro Rosso. In the fight for championships, Mercedes have hit right back at Ferrari. The fanfare, the points, the streamers and the glory go to Mercedes-Benz and to Lewis Hamilton, and that champagne will taste so good.
Such human errors costed Ferrari a 1-2 finish in the Italian Grand Prix. It was an errors make-up by Sebastian Vettel that he didn't take up the room that had been left by Lewis Hamilton. Bumping into Lewis Hamilton costed him with a spun.
Look at Hamilton alongside Vettel. Oh, so close. He'll struggle to get round there.
They touch Martin. Hamilton and Vettel has been spun round. Disaster for Sebastian Vettel at the start of this race. He touched with Lewis Hamilton going through the chicane. Hamilton came off best. Sebastian Vettel losing places. He's down in 18th.
2 into 1 one wouldn't go. There's just not enough space through there, but Hamilton hung it around the outside. And somehow it's Vettel that went around and has lost some bodywork for good measure.
That was silly. Where did he want to go?
Obvious. Can't damage.
Yeah, front wing.
Normally, 9 times out of 10, it'd be the car on the outside that ended up getting turned around. But he squeezed. I mean, he was on the racetrack. Hamilton did not leave the racetrack at any point.
So in that contact, Vettel spun at the chicane. He is the last car in the pack.
Need to check my front wing.
Copy.
Side also.
Copy. We'll have a look when you come past.
Just in the same, on the same event, of course, 2016 Formula 1 champion, that is Nico Rosberg, has advised Ferrari driver Sebastian Vettel and, of course, the whole team, if they're to handle Hamilton, they need to do it at the point. Nico says Lewis Hamilton can only be beaten with a well-prepared set mind with the high-performing Ferrari. Only need to strategize against the Lewis Hamilton. Let's hear Nico Rosberg tell us what he thinks about the Italian Grand Prix as we roll on to the next coming event.
Race is finished here now, so quick race analysis here from me. So Lewis did an epic job, really well deserved. Behind me is a Twitter Formula 1 show happening, the live where I was just on as well. You can go check that out on Twitter. And no, it was really really epic. I'm just going to head over to the Mercedes motorhome, and Lewis did a phenomenal job today, one of his best drives clearly, and that's why he's also considered one of the best out there and best of all time, right up there, and he showed that again today. He's on great form. Just did everything right, huh? And Ferrari again did so much wrong. Like in the start, Sebastian completely messed up. It was 100% his fault. Lewis did nothing wrong. He left all the space, so there's nothing you can blame him for. Yeah, 100% Sebastian's fault. Just overcooked it, and that's his weakness also a little bit, that he just can't accept. Yeah, when he needs to let the other guy just well get past or whatever. He just can't accept it. So he just got too aggressive, crashed into him, spun, was last, and then that gave Lewis second place. And then just against Kimi, the Mercedes did a great team job. Yeah, they put the pressure on all the time, dummied the pit stop, so they went out with a pit crew. So Ferrari thought, oh, Lewis is going to come in, so they went in way too early. So then Kimi had quite cooked tires. Then as well, they used Bottas against Kimi, so Bottas was holding up Kimi, so that was really massive team orders. That destroyed Kimi's tires to drive behind Bottas all the time. And so then, yeah, that just gave Lewis a great shot at the end. Kimi's tires were absolutely ruined. And Lewis just awesome, he nailed it and got past and won that race, so phenomenal. Big blow to Ferrari because they were the absolute favourites here, and here at home Lewis dominated like that, so massive blow, but there we go. And Vettel is just not going to be world champion if he continues like that. He's against Lewis, you have to do everything perfect, and Vettel's not doing it at the moment, so he needs to adapt and change because he needs to improve, raise his game. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great here to be in Monza, special experience, unbelievable to be up on the podium. I mean, as you saw the images, yeah, I was up there thanks to Sky Sports F1. And so emotional, like memories coming back, and the Tifosi really welcoming me, so very, very emotional.
Thoughts have been reignited of having Kimi Raikkonen, who finished second in the Italian Grand Prix, get his replacement at Ferrari. Let's get to hear from the weekly Formula 1 news as we get to see who is changing seat to our team.
18-year-old Brit Lando Norris will race for McLaren from 2019, with the historic British team choosing to promote its highly rated test and reserve driver over retaining embattled Belgian Stoffel van Dorn, who has disappointed in his second season. Norris is fighting for this year's Formula 2 championship and has already had time in McLaren's MCL 33, driving in practice for the team in Belgium and Italy, with more sessions expected before his debut. Toro Rosso looks set to continue on as a Red Bull recycler in 2019, with Russian Daniil Kvyat increasingly likely to rejoin the squad. The 24-year-old has been a Ferrari development driver since January this year, but it's understood Scuderia team boss Maurizio Arrivabene reached out to Red Bull's Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko in Belgium about the prospect of Kvyat's racing return. The chance has arisen with Red Bull lacking options for its junior team, with leader Dan Ticktum unable to earn enough points for a super license this year, even if he wins the European Formula 3 title. Kvyat made his debut for Toro Rosso in 2014, showing prodigious speed, enough to be promoted to the energy drink brand's top team the following season, but wilted under pressure, eventually being replaced by top young gun Max Verstappen for the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. A race he won on debut for the team in what was Kvyat's car. A return to the F1 grid would mark the Russian's third stint for the Minnow squad and would likely be a one-year deal. F1 will again have a 21-race calendar in 2019, after the German event at Hockenheim was retained with backing from Mercedes, Japan also re-signing for another 3 years with Honda support. The draft 2019 calendar, released ahead of the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, is less compacted though, with the season extended by 2 weeks. The season starts in Australia on March 17, with China the 1000th F1 race. Singapore is back-to-back with Russia, while Mexico has swapped dates with the USA. The season ending in December for the first time in 50 years in Abu Dhabi. F1 could have a new tyre supplier from 2020, with a second manufacturer said to have tendered a bid. Rumoured to be Korean brand Hankook, with Michelin deciding against re-entering. Last week, the sport's governing body, the FIA, closed the tender process for F1's tyre supply, which is skewed in incumbent Pirelli's favour, given the need to produce tyres for 13-inch wheels for just a single season, before the switch to 18-inch wheels from 2021. Hankook currently supplies German touring car series DTM as well as the European Formula 3 series, but has never provided tyres to F1. The FIA will take the next 2 weeks to assess bids before the process is handed over to Liberty Media for the commercial side. F1 has again taken the sport to the people, with the Milan Festival seeing the city streets shut down for a 4-day event ahead of the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. The festival transformed Milan's Da Senna Dockland area, with fans able to experience the sport with interactive displays, stalls, and of course, the cars, from Italian-linked teams Ferrari, Toro Rosso, and Sauber, with the drivers enjoying the chance to take F1 to new audiences.
We just finished a show here in Milan. It's something new for me that I've never done before, and I think it's a great idea. I think it's great for the fans to see a little bit the race cars, and yeah, very cool day, very fun day, and very happy to be part of it.
The biggest news from the event, though, was Ferrari's 4-time F1 world champion Sebastian Vettel skidding into the barriers at low speed, which dislodged his front wing. Renault's Nico Hülkenberg still has mixed feelings over cockpit protection device Halo, in spite of the role it seems to have played in saving the life of Sauber's Charles Leclerc at the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. The German caused the terrifying aerial smash when he locked his brakes and crashed into Fernando Alonso, launching his McLaren over Leclerc's C37 at La Source, ending the race for all three on the spot. And while Hülkenberg says the device's safety credentials are beyond question, the 31-year-old says he's still not fond of having it on the car. Echoing what he said exclusively to the Inside Line pre-season on the Halo's mandatory introduction in F1 from this year.
I'm still not a personal fan of it, but it doesn't, influence or distract me in any way while I'm driving, so that's good.
TheInsideLine.com for everything Formula One.
Talking WRC, it was a great weekend and outing as we last saw action in Germany. In the bid to improve their ways into the racing arenas, Toyota Gazoo Racing Team, their drivers, made a courtesy visit to their manufacturing and engineering plant, where they will see how action and how good the machinery is done for the high-performance cars.
So it's actually started last year, the tradition that after Rally Germany we come to Cologne, to meet our basically very important part of the team. So TMG people who are responsible of the heart of our car, so engine. So it's fantastic possibility for us, our drivers, team members, to see how they work here and understand each other and also see how they develop our engine all the time.
It's always a very nice emotion because you spend normally a lot of effort on the car, on developing the model. You work long hours and so on, and you're always like sitting in a box far away from the real people that will be using your product. So when they come to have a direct contact with the drivers that you always see just in television, it's always something very, very emotional, very motivating. So it's something that we like very much. When it happened, we really enjoy to have the possibility to show them direct what we are doing to make them hopefully faster.
Yeah, so what they're doing here is they're testing the LMP1 car that's just run at Silverstone in the UK. And what they're testing is a simulated model of this car, which has been carefully correlated against the actual car data before the event. We use it for preparation for the event, to try many settings to get the optimum before we go to the event.
Yeah, obviously we managed to experience a bit race simulator today. Was still interesting to feel how it feels to sit on the floor and see nothing on a very high speed. So it looks like it's a bit different world to the rallying and definitely needs a bit more experience. But it's definitely nice to get our first taste and yeah, hopefully we will have another chance in the future.
I really love rallycast, and this is like a dream for me, you know. I like the heritage of Toyotas, and I like collecting Toyotas myself. So of course I'm really excited to see all this stuff here.
I think it's very important for them to meet once a year the drivers who are driving their engine developed by TMG, and also meet other team members and kind of experience the excitement of the rally. So it's very nice to see the car here, also see Le Mans cars. So basically also change opinions and learn each other's.
Well, guys, you can be part of this show by just joining us live on our Facebook page, that is Speed Racer with Frank SK. And you can also tweet by just going onto my Twitter handle at FKHC. And then on Instagram, you can also send in your messages and responses with the name Frank Hess. Let's take a short rock boom break and come back with more action on the local scene.